I'm just done watching the Ronaldo interview, of course. 45 minutes, of course, of great entertainment. And my first thoughts are he calls himself a strawberry. He does. He actually goes on in the interview to say that he is an appetite fruit, he says. And he then says that he does not know how it feels in English. And then he says that, of course, it's Cristiano Ronaldo. He says that he's happy that he's got half a billion followers. He's not got half a million, of course. He's got way more than that. He's got half a billion followers, 495 million followers when Piers Morgan checked. And he says that he is happy about breaking 2 records. The minute he joined, number one was that Man United's tweet of Ronaldo coming back was the most liked tweet in Twitter history, and that Ronaldo broke the shirt sale records of a certain Lionel Messi, which Ronaldo, of course, had to laugh at. Honestly, after all the hate he's been getting, no biasness involved. I myself, I feel heartbroken that, he's the kind of stuff that has come out. But I feel today was a big positive for Cristiano Ronaldo. Leave aside the Ralph Rangnick comments he's made. Leave aside the comments he's made about speak positively from Ronaldo's side, because of the fact that they actually look at stuff like an ex-player would, not like a pundit would, but like an ex-player would, and they know what goes on in a player's mind. Coming to the emotional side of the interview, of course, he speaks about the worst moment since his father died. He speaks about, whatever's happened with his son and the unfortunate passing of his son. He focuses on how, he thanked the English community, he thanked Anfield, he thanked everybody who, supported him through this bad journey they were undergoing. And he also reveals that the Queen and the family gave him, sent a letter across to, probably give their condolences, which again he reciprocated with a gentle post after the Queen passed away in September. So I think all in all, this interview, the biggest point for me is, I think, he actually goes on and says that he has top respect for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, a man who brought him back. He does say, which we all kind of, were thinking, we all kind of never knew for sure. He reveals Pep Guardiola spoke to Ronaldo. He reveals that he had a conversation, said they were going to sign him. It was very close, and one call changed it, and it was Sir Alex Ferguson who, quote unquote, he told him it is impossible for you to play at Man City, and he said, okay boss, I'm coming back to Man United. And different opinions. I have said this on the live before, 2 days ago with the Fanspire, and I'll say it again. You have to give it the whole interview. You had to listen to the first part. You have to listen to the second part before you start abusing someone or before you start loving on someone. I'm happy with the first part. Tomorrow night I might not be happy with whatever he said. So I feel all in all, I think the interview is a good one. He's spoken from the heart. He's spoken about Gio. He's spoken of his girlfriend, of course. He's spoken about his father's ashes and his son's ashes, late father, late son's ashes, are in a chapel that he has built underneath, probably an underground floor. He probably has, and he's built a church, a chapel where he talks to them every day. They apparently make him, a better person, is what he has said. It's a good interview. 45 minutes of informative, there's a lot of information about Cristiano Ronaldo being dwelled out, and he does speak about a lot of stuff. He name drops Jose Mourinho, Fernando Santos, Zidane, Ancelotti, Allegri as top coaches he's played with. It is kind of, that name drop does come up with Ralph Rangnick, which is kind of an interesting point he has brought on, and Ralph Rangnick not knowing who he was. But I think everything he said in the interview, apart from that, might actually be justified. He's not named the Glazers yet. He's not named Ten Hag yet. That has not come yet. That will come in part 2 tomorrow. But this is, of course, this is just a part 1 reaction. So you have to agree that in part 1, I don't see any reason to hate on Cristiano Ronaldo because he's spoken, the big topics he's spoken about, young players not taking, advice. He clearly says, not just Manchester United, he says his son is part of his generation. He says that young players have, taken here, and the advice goes out from the other ear. He goes on to say that Lisandro Martinez, Casemiro, and Diego Dallo will have good careers, and Casemiro's in his 30s. He does mention that, but he says that they'll have long careers. What else does he say? He talks about Gary Neville and Wayne Rooney. He says he does mention that Wayne Rooney did surprise him because he was up, the kids of Wayne Rooney and Ronaldo had a play date apparently about 6 months back. Rooney was in the house with his kids, and he does mention that, which is kind of true because we are making a reaction video on this, so it is kind of true. Talking about Ronaldo always gets you views, talking about Ronaldo, talking negatively about Ronaldo. And he also says that people like Keane and Ferdinand, he's very happy because not only because they, and I feel that you have to probably go on, see the interview if you have the time. If not, you're gonna read a lot of quotes. I just hope you don't fall for the wrong quotes. Go for the verified sources. And I feel part one is actually, honestly, you leave that Ralph Rangnick comment out. I think it's a win for Ronaldo, part one at least. Part two is where all the controversial stuff comes. He's spoken about the Glazers, spoken about Ten Hag being the black sheep. Let's see, part two is going to air at 1:30 a.m. India time tomorrow. I think part two really gives us the interview we're looking for, everybody's looking for, and part two maybe holds some other grudges. So let's see. Part one is done. Part two tomorrow, same time, 1:30. We'll probably see Piers Morgan and Cristiano Ronaldo again in the part two. A great interview.